It's lifestyle. It's freedom. It's, like family could be important to you. Adventure could be important to you. Like, why are you doing all of this? So you start with that every morning, and then you reverse the beliefs every morning, just like rewire this belief. Yeah, I call them manifestation. Sorry. You look at your goals. Like, what is it that you're creating in the world?
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I'm your host, Micah Johnson, and today I'm joined by Jillian from the streets of Paris, who's been making some serious moves in real estate investing for the last 6 years now. Jillian, welcome in. Glad to have you.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely. I'm excited for our talk today. You've been doing some cool stuff in the industry, learning, especially in the short-term rental, mid-term rental space, just understanding. You nailed some things I loved in our pre-recording call of how to get the most out of a market, how important education is, how to make sure that you're actually investing and not gambling is how I took it, like to make sure you're successful. So I'm pumped to dig into today's call. So for folks that are listening in that aren't familiar with you yet, tell us more about yourself and what's your main focus right now?
Sure. I actually have a background in finance and public relations, and I built a video production company and saved money and invested it in the stock market and eventually bought my first property. That was in 2021, and I've been buying properties ever since.
Love that. Love that. Okay, so you built a video production company. Why real estate? What led you to where you are today?
So a couple things. One is I kept meeting random people who either didn't work much and were making a lot of money, or were just making a ton of money and were very happy. And they had always invested in real estate. And
Okay.
so I went to Bigger Pockets, and it was like in like 2020 or something, 2019. And I saw Brandon, like burring these like teeny tiny little houses. And then I started listening to the podcast, and I was like, if they can do it, I can do it.
Love that. And it's true. It's true. I'm going to touch on this early because it was something we were talking about of really that belief that that's not for me belief and
Hmm.
how much it can hold us back. How
Yes.
really it's the first thing you have to get over to do anything big is to
Hmm.
actually believe it's for you. I've been through it.
Yeah.
It's funny when you get on the other side and you realize like that was the thing holding you back the whole time. Like,
Hmm.
like all I needed to do was just believe it was for me and all this other work I was doing was going to line up, right? All these other things because you work so hard and you work so hard. But when you're working hard and not believing it's for you at the same time, the universe listens, right? That's a mixed signal. You're just creating a
Exactly.
little chaos in your life, which is exactly how it felt. I was like, why is life so chaotic right now? Why? Why? And that's when I fell in love with journaling and realized, oh, it's me. I'm the one doing this.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a powerful thing. So tell us some ways, because I think we're definitely not the only ones that identify with that. what have some ways that you've been even in that moment and since to allow yourself that growth, even through video production, right? Like that's an entrepreneur thing, in my opinion, not just
Oh
a
yeah.
real thing.
No, I'm an entrepreneur. I think real estate investing is just one part of it.
Right.
So you were
So
asking
take it
how do I get
the that's not for me. How have you overcome that through the
yeah.
thing? Because you were listening to the podcast and we're like, all right, that's not for me. When else have you seen that? And how have you overcome that as you've gone along?
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Well, no, actually I was listening to the podcast and I said, if they can do it, I can do it. So,
Right.
listening, immersing yourself in education and immersing yourself in education coming from people who have come from where you come from, or even like a worse place, shows you it like you have to see to believe it, that it's possible for
Right.
you. So I actually use a process. So,
Okay.
number one is figuring out the most important things to me. So it's like, I love creativity. I love luxury. I love freedom. I love all these different things. And then I, figure out exactly what it is I want to create. I want to
Mhm.
make an extra this much per month. I want to live here, whatever it is. And then I do a combination of like journaling and meditation and figure out like, what is it that I believe? Like, what are my negative beliefs around this? Why do I believe this is not for me? What are the stories
Right.
that I've been telling myself that I probably picked up from childhood or the media or whatever? Why is this not
Right.
for me? Why is this not possible? And then that's when I go into meditation and there's this whole like neural manifestation process. And then I flip it and think, what if that were not true? What would it look like if that were for me? And then I realized like, oh, everyone started somewhere.
Mhm.
Everyone. And like,
Right.
not everyone was born rich. And I think honestly, so mentioned I had a video production company, have one, and we make these legacy videos for families. And one of them, we made a video for the owner and founder, builder of the Four Seasons Beverly Hills. And
Okay.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, I don't think he would mind. He stopped going to school when he was 13 years old.
Wow.
And his parents were immigrants to this country. And they moved to California because people in their community told them that they could buy wholesale flowers from the flower market and hawk them on the side of the road and not starve to death.
Mm.
So he dropped out of school, and not dropped out. I'm sure his parents said, you've got to stop, you've got to start working, when he was 13. And so did his wife. And they were both in the flower business, and they
Okay.
ended up getting married. And I just, because I was interviewing for this legacy video, we went through the whole story, and it was like a combination of like saving your money, being strategic, making good relationships, dumb luck, and absolute confidence.
Mm.
So,
Mm.
okay, so
Wow.
where was I going with that? Okay, so I was saying that you've got to reverse those beliefs. The next thing I do is I look for like what I call expanders. I
Okay.
look for people who come from where I've come from or worse. Like, so this guy would be an expander who is where I
Right.
want to be.
Right.
And then that shows your brain, again, you can sort of see it to believe it and go, oh my God, like if they can do it, I could do it. Like, oh my God, like maybe that's actually possible. So sort of immersing yourself in those, people that expand your belief in what's possible for you. And then it's continual reversing of those beliefs, It's continual, like every day going back to what are those core values? Why am I doing this? My core
Right.
value isn't money. Like I've made money. Money gets you, a certain level of happiness, and then it's just, really not a lot from there.
Right.
It's lifestyle, it's freedom. It's, like family could be important to you. Adventure could be important to you. Like, why are you doing
Right.
all of this? So you start with that every morning, and then you reverse the beliefs every morning, just like rewire this belief. Yeah, I call them manifestation. Sorry. You look at your goals. What is it that you're creating in the world? And then you write down 3 action steps you're going to take that day towards those goals.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
So that's sort of
Love that.
my process.
I love that. I love that. I liked I'm gonna work backwards in it. I love the fact that you're breaking it down into little steps because that's how all of this works. If you're listening or watching in, it's tiny steps. There's not that much you can do each day. I've journaled all actually in a week, it'll be every day for the last 4 years. And I go back and I read it. And I just look at life and I always journal. I journal like this morning I woke up and journaled about yesterday. So I live the full day, sleep on it, and then I write about what stuck out to me. Like what was I thinking about? What would I trying to do? Work, family, husband, like all the things. I'll tell myself what's going on. And it really showed me not much happens each day. It's really not much. Most of life is just in the middle. It's something you've already
Mhm.
started that you just need a little shove and a little shove and a little shove. And it's like real estate's a great example. There's like very few beginnings and there's very few endings, and it's mostly all in the middle. Like most of your
Mm.
life in real estate spent under contract, right? Like if
Yeah.
you're doing it, that's where you're living, right? Closing days
Mhm.
only happen once every so often. So if like you're saying, if
Mhm.
you're only living for that paycheck, you're if we'll only do something for so long because it financially pays us. If it doesn't pay our emotional paycheck, no one will do it long enough unless they start to hate themselves. Like you will start to hate yourself eventually if you
That's most
continue to do
people,
that.
though. They go to school they go
It is.
to
It is.
work every day, and
And
they're like, "F my life."
that's where what you just nailed down is the key step. I have a question I ask myself every morning. Are you willing to accept self-honesty? Are you? If not, you'll only grow as far as you're willing to be honest with yourself. And
Mm.
then what you else you've nailed down is perspective. Perspective is the most valuable thing you can have, in my opinion. On my Facebook banner, it says perspective is greater than. It's everything. Your perspective on a situation is the story you're telling yourself. And as someone, I know what it's like to overcome those beliefs. I was raised in a doomsday cult in the middle of the woods. Like I was
Mhm.
raised by people who believed the world was going to end. And when you
Mhm.
absorb that, you want to talk about stuff not just not being for you, like everything's
Exactly.
going to end. Like so, and that you don't have to be raised in a doomsday cult for that environment, but you nailed that
No.
where you really got to take a second and pay attention to like when got into personal development, this question started going off in my mind. I was working with my first coach. He was asking me some questions I never thought about, and it hit me. It's like, why are you the way you are in all the ways you are?
Mhm.
And I went on a long journey to understand, like, why do you have that reaction? Why do you tell yourself that story? Why this? Why that? Why this? Why that? And
Mhm.
it all came down to they were all absorbed ideas, and I built my whole life on it. And you were saying that
Yeah.
earlier about child. Most of the stuff we tell ourselves we can't do, you absorb that somewhere. Because when I watch my little kids grow up, I never saw them tell me they can't do something.
Mm.
They were always out doing stuff. They were always like, when you're
Mhm.
really like that real version of you before it gets, before puberty, before experience, before like life does its thing and we got to outgrow that part as adults, you're this person who is truly they believe they can do anything. The
Mhm.
only story they tell
Right.
themselves is curious ones, right? It's not
Mhm.
answers, it's all questions. And I was like, okay, how do you get back to that? Because when you get back to that, everything becomes possible. Now
Yeah.
you nailed it. The questions that you just said about why am I actually doing this? if you're a high performer out there, doing more is your problem. We can all do more.
Mhm.
Doing ain't our problem. Why we're doing what we're doing. Are you actually getting closer to the life you want? Or are you just doing more? Because
And
that's
it's
where
the
I see
state you're
high
doing
level.
it in.
Right.
It's also the
Right.
state you're
Why are
doing
you
it in.
doing it that way?
It's if you're in this state of like, "Oh my god, I'm not doing enough, or I'm not gonna be able to get there, or I'm not good enough," you're gonna stay there and run on a hamster wheel. But if you come
Mhm.
at it from a place where you're regulated, you are in a good headspace, you believe it's possible for you, all of a sudden, things just start lining up. Like, in fact, I was doing this journaling exercise the other day about goals, and it was like somebody else's journaling thing. Um, and I was answering the questions, and I don't know if I'm allowed to connect. Within like 5 minutes of being done with that, I saw this podcast opportunity, and I was like, "What? How cool is that?"
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
That's that dumb luck part you mentioned. It's funny how often you get in the way of it when you start living intentionally.
Mhm.
It's what attracts it. It's doing things on purpose, and that's why knowing why and working backwards. You're Charlie Mungering it. Invert. Where do you want to go? Work backwards, and that'll tell
Right.
you. And this is what I show people. What it's also going to show you is where you are right now, and that's the part you can't get upset about. A lot of
Mm,
people get butthurt right then because they're way further away than they ever thought. And that's where it's just like, look, it's okay. At least you know where you are. Now you know what to do next. Right. That's
mm,
the key. Everybody has big dreams getting into real estate, but you got to become the person to pull the big dream off. If I just gave you a
mhm.
thousand units, you'd lose them in a month.
It's a
But if
good
you go
point.
become the person who can handle 1,000 units, you're going to handle 10,000 units.
That's
And
a really good point.
that is the journey of life. That's where you mentioned something pre-recording about that same legacy video where he mentions it's all a cycle. Real estate's all a cycle. And I'll expand it. Life is a
Exactly.
cycle. It's what
Exactly.
it does. It's my therapist even says it. He goes, Micah, life gets good and you think it can't get any better and it gets better and you think it can't get any better and it gets better and you think it can't get any better than this and it gets better and then it gets a little
Mhm.
worse. You
Mhm.
think it can't get it does, and you just ride
Yeah,
this thing, but the most important
exactly.
version of it is you, and that's really you
Mhm.
nailed it earlier, it's calm. That is the ideal state. Look at any
Mhm.
champion. Sports is my favorite place to go view this. I love
Mm,
golf. I tried to play it professionally, like, I was obsessed with it. But one
mm,
thing I noticed about the pros, on Sunday, on the last 9, they slow down. They are not going
mm.
fast. The last group, the last player, you want to hear Tiger, go listen to Tiger Woods interviews about how he won always on Sundays. They slow
Wow.
down. I had the pleasure of working with one of Tiger Woods' coaches, and it was incredible. What he teaches is a champion's greatest word is restraint. You don't take the field until you're ready. No champion just wanders out there. And then once you're out there, the ideal state for a champion is calm. If you are not calm, you cannot compete. And I was just like, whoa, whoa. Like, it's as simple as it sounds, but I looked at my whole life and looked at all my problems and saw, dude, you just flipped out is what you did. You just literally like,
Mhm.
whoa, went into chaos mode and just broke all your stuff.
Right.
What if you
Right.
didn't do that? What? And that's what my journal literally lays out is 4 years of stopping that.
Love
Okay,
that.
I'm doing it here. How do you fix it? Do it here. And what I love is it works just like compounding interest. The longer you
Mhm.
live that way, I grew up farming. I call it farming time. You can literally predict the future by living that way. You won't know
Mm.
when it'll happen, but you will know that all I got to do is these actions for long enough, and that'll create a result every time. Results are activity plus
It's so
time.
true.
The
It's so
version of
true.
me doing it is what matters.
When I first started investing in real estate. My first investment was during COVID, and I was not in a good place. Not in a
Mm,
good place. Like, I had taken basically all of COVID to like deep dive inside because I was running this
mhm.
video production company. I wasn't happy. I loved it at the beginning. I loved storytelling. And then I became the CEO and I was dealing with accounting and HR and payroll, and it was a disaster. Not a disaster, but a disaster inside. I was like, I hate this. Um, and I just was in a very dark place because I went again deep inside and then sort of like dealt with all of it on the way out. And then my I won't even get into all the details, but I literally so I have a journal that I actually like share with clients and sell, but I literally
Love that.
made this like Excel spreadsheet, which was the beginning of this journal with exactly what I told you about. And I made myself do it every single day. And I did this work that I was telling you about with like, inner child and shadow and blocks and boundaries and all these different things. I did it with a group of women. Actually, we met like every day on Zoom. I've never met them in my life, but they're amazing. Um, anyway, so within like 3 to 6 months, and again, I was in a dark place, and I had a video production company. This was like end of 2020. There was no video production going on. There
Mhm.
was nothing. Like,
Right.
you weren't allowed to. So, that's actually when I started consulting, which is
Okay.
a lot of what I do now, which is so amazing. Anyway, so, within like 3 to 6 months of finishing the last one, which was a workshop on finances, I bought like $1 million townhouse overlooking the ocean in Malibu. And like, there's no reason that I should have been able to do that. None whatsoever. And by the way, I learned creative financing without even knowing it. I
Mm.
put down $30,000 on
Oh,
that
heck
place.
yeah.
Yeah, because I figured out, well, if I can move this money over there and da 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 da, I can do and then just eh, chipping away at it. But every single day, I would go back to who am I? What do I want to be about? What is it that I'm creating? It's possible for me. What is the belief that I'm reversing? And then what are my 3 steps for today? And I'm telling you, within
Love
3 to
that.
6 months, I had done this, and it was like a huge contract had to come in from a client because I was like, "How am I gonna explain to the bank that, like, I'm financially stable?" You know? Like, but literally a huge healthcare company called me and was like, "We have a few $100,000 to spend on a commercial, like, could you help us?" And I was like, "Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I can help you. Yes." So,
I love that. And the key there, you said the magic words. It's 90 to 180 days. That ain't random. That is something I've noticed by journaling every day. 90.
really?
Oh my God. I call it the 90-day mentality is something I've written about, where if you can
Ooh.
understand that you truly don't get paid for any of the work you do today, especially in your personal development, the real payment starts 90 days out. And it requires you to become that. Because that's where I'm able,
Mm,
what I document in my journal is like when I start questioning a belief and I talk about it, how long. And then when I start to notice I don't have, it's just natural, I'll write it back down. So I can
mm,
watch literally how long it takes to change a belief. It really only takes 3 days. The first 3 days are the hardest, where you're going to have to remind yourself the most. By day 4, it'll start to sink in where you only have to think about it a few times that day. Really, by a month in, you don't really fight with the feeling anymore. By three
mm,
months, absolutely natural. It's
mm,
absolutely natural. And I used to believe I was the most broken, worthless human being. That's what I was taught. To
mm.
now, I'm one of the most. I'm valuable. I have value. I'm worthy of being loved. I'm worthy of all the things.
I
And for
love that.
me to get to there, I can tell you that's a if you're listening out there, if I can do that, you can do that. I
Exactly.
was supposed
Exactly.
to die 6 years ago from my life experience due to self-inflicted death, and I'm 40 now, so I feel like I live in bonus time. Like I outlived the experience, which is like boom, and then being able to grow from there. Because it's really that's what I found that you deal with in personal development. Good, you need here's some great questions I found for myself to ask. Go understand who your parents were beyond the fact that they were your parents. Go understand them as human beings. If you're old enough now, if you're past 25, you can understand who your parents were as humans right? And when I did that, that's where I started to see, I see why I was told these stories. I know why I was raised in
Mm.
a cult. I know exactly why y'all went there. I don't blame you. I was doing wild too
Oh,
in my mid-20s, right? Like
wow.
I could see why. And then what I had was perspective. I wasn't angry. I wasn't upset anymore. I was just like, okay, now I see. And what that did is put me, how much work do you really have to do? And my journey in took about 5 years. It took a long time to
Yeah.
find where my feet touched the ground
Yeah.
because you're peeling that onion back. And what I've learned is don't be too fast to build on stuff as you're personal developing. Because if you build, like, I view it like a bridge. If the road's broken here and I build a bridge here, like, I built a bridge on a broken road, y'all. Like, the road is still broken. Fix the piece underneath. And if you find that one under that's broken, because each life experience, you just create the new story. And like, I'm
Mm.
way out here on story a zillion, and it's like working back to story one, where it's like, okay, here we can make real change. And at that place in your life, that's like those 90 and 180-day moments. Is if in my journal, that's how it looks, is you hit these new phases where it's like, oh, I can see it. I understand what's going on here. And that next one will unlock. And it's beautiful. There's a rhythm to it. And you're describing it. I love hearing other people's journeys because I have ADHD and I pattern everything. But so I do, I look to hear like, okay, you're having that same experience.
Yep.
Perfect. It's like life's a science experiment to me now. That is
For
it. If you take it personal, it gives you bad things. If you look at it
yeah,
like, it's like with slight amusement, it will reward you in beautiful ways.
absolutely. The one thing I would say is that I do think it's possible to like I hate to use this word because it's so woo-woo, but like manifest like
Mhm.
almost instantly. Like I don't think things need to take 90 to 180 days. I mean, to reverse the belief, I actually think it takes a lifetime. But but to actually do something, like I got this prompt from social media the other day. Again, I shit you not. It was like, ask ChatGPT, how can I make, you know who I am. I'm constantly talking to ChatGPT, best friends. Always so nice to me. Like I'm always
Right.
right. It's amazing. And I'm so
Sure.
reasonable. Everything I do, perfect sense. Um,
And
anyway, so the prompt was like something along the lines of like, knowing what you know about me, how can I create X amount of money in the next 30 to 60 days or something like that? And I was like, oh, like, what am I going to do? Like, this is so stupid. But I put it in and it started answering me. And I was like, oh, that's actually a good point. And then I think it was like, she gave like a list of questions to ask. And by the end, I realized I had a call scheduled with my ideal client the next morning. And I didn't know what I
mm,
was going to say on that call because I was like, I don't know how I can help this guy. Like, I think I know, but like, I don't really know. Like, I don't know for sure. And then by the end of that exercise, I was like, this is exactly what I'm going to do for him. Oh my God. Like, I'm going to change this guy's life. Like he's so lucky. And I, the next morning, I pitched him, and within like a week, I had $5,000 from that
yeah,
client. And I was like, Instagram for the win,
right.
like what the
It's so true. It's so true.
but it's like,
Well,
it was that quick change that was like, oh my God, I already have it. I already have it.
that's
It
the
was
story.
right in front of me.
That's the story. And that's what's beautiful about it. You change your story, you can change your life. That is instant. That is
Mhm.
100% instant. Your opportunity is telling it to yourself the next day when a new version of you is awake. And the next
Yeah.
day when a new version of you is awake. And that's that journaling part that showed me it's like, oh, I don't wake up the same day every day, but I do wake up the same again over time. So it's like these series of me that have to wake up and believe it until the repeat gets back, right? And then when that guy's back, it's
Mm.
like, oh, good. Now we're believing this all throughout the month.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put together those questions and I'm going to make it available for people. So if you
I love it.
contact me, I'm going to give you a PDF. I'm going to write it down right now
Okay.
of those questions because I swear to you, $5,000, just boom. And I did it so confidently. And I feel so good about like, oh my God, changing this guy's life. And it's so easy. It's so easy. What he needs to do is just a simple shift.
Wow. No, please do. Yeah,
Okay.
I say this, answers are a dime a dozen. A good question, that's worth its weight in gold.
Mhm,
Because that
mhm.
the most inspiring voice we hear is our own, and that's why questions work so well. That's why I've trained a custom GPT called the Clarity Lab, which that's all it does. It
Oh, I
just asks you
love
questions.
that.
Yeah, it's programmed and designed to ask you questions, and it'll actually track it for you on Google. So if you give it your email, it'll keep track. So if you don't like to write, you can literally use it as a daily journal where it'll just keep tracking it for you. And all it'll do is ask you questions. It'll ask you if you want advice on something. I designed it to
That's
let it
good.
ask
I
it.
love that.
It's really question driven to really understand and get past, because that's what helped me. Like, good questions help me. I don't have anything to tell you that's new, y'all. We're all repeating ourselves, just saying different ways. The stuff we know has been known a long time. You just got to figure out who says it the way that makes sense to you. Who says
One
that
more
stuff in a way?
one more question that can change my life in an instant is what would it look like if it worked out? What no, no. What if it worked out?
Mhm.
What if it worked out? What would it
Right?
look like? And it's just like, "Oh my
And
god, I didn't even know that was a possibility." But you don't know when you're in it that that's what's stopping you. And that's why
right.
it's so important to have, people around you, whether it's mentors or groups or coaches or consultants or therapists, whatever it is, having that mirror, having like a smart mirror to ask you those questions is life changing.
It is. It is, and especially from folks that you can trust, like that you didn't come to that answer. You didn't get to the question by accident. That's what helps you
Mm,
find good questions, is life shows
mm,
them to you. And then
mm,
I couldn't agree more. Connecting with other people, that's how we compress time. You can learn all the lessons on your
mm,
own, and you're gonna die, who knows at what age, but you wouldn't have gotten nearly as far if you borrow information. It's my favorite
mm.
thing I started doing was, who
Totally.
can I find that's ahead of me on the curve, that's out there? Show me what's coming. I don't want to have to guess anymore. Did that enough, right? Like, it's people can tell us, especially we most of the things we want to do, especially in real estate, have been done before. Somebody
Hmm.
has done it that we can go talk to. Like, real estate's an old
Yes,
industry. We're reinventing the wheel here. Just go find those folks and plug in with them.
so
Jillian,
true.
these are the kind of conversations I can have for quite some
I
time. But
know.
I want to plug in on that, because one thing I tell everybody on the show, when we bring professionals on, talk to them. What you've created in your midterm rental, short term rental business, and we didn't dig into it much today because we hit, I think, one of the more important topics, which is the mindset that's behind
I agree.
everything. So, if folks that are listening in out there, what I'm really glad they got was a good view of who you are and how you think about it, because that's what I
Mm,
think is important. That's what I think makes things successful, is people intentionally thinking their processes through.
mm.
So for those that want to find out more about you, follow along with what you have going on, possibly connect with you, where's the best way for them to get you?
I would say Instagram. That's where I'll put this PDF. It's Jill.ventures. So JILL.VENTURES. And believe it or not, my website is the same, Jill.ventures. So
Okay.
connect with me on Instagram, and I take clients through this process.
Okay.
Typically people who are already pretty high performing, but they know they're sort of getting in their own way, or they want something bigger, or they want a more free lifestyle. Like, I live anywhere I want, anywhere in the world at any time. Like,
Love
I
that.
was in Paris over the winter and I was like, it's too cold. So I went to the Middle East, and I went to Indonesia, and then I went to Thailand. And I was like, I think I'm ready to go back to Paris now. And then somebody invited me back to the Middle East. And I was like, okay, that sounds great. And then met all these amazing people, got super inspired, and then came back to Paris. So, like, this was my dream in
And
2015. I
you
remember sitting across from my friend in Starbucks and going, I just want to be somewhere in life where I just get like deposits into my account and I don't have to chase clients or manage people, any of that. I just want deposits to my account, and I want to be able to live wherever I want in the world. And I want to be able to learn those languages and just embed myself in everyday life. And I'm taking French classes. So,
love that. I love it.
yeah.
Well, congratulations. I like to make
Thank
sure I
you.
say that to folks who pulled it off, because we all get in this for something. And I love folks getting to see and hear the journey of people who've accomplished it. So again, if you're listening out there, follow along, check out Jillian's links. We'll have them in the show notes below us. again, follow along with professionals, follow along with people who are doing it and have done it, because that's who we can learn from. Jill, thanks. Jillian, I keep saying Jill. Do you
Well,
go by
because
Jill at
Jill
all?
dot Ventures. Yes, absolutely.
That was what got said, and it was like, wait a second, how did that get stuck in my head? All right, Jillian, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for being here today. I
Oh,
really
thank
enjoyed it.
you. Me too.
Thanks for all those listeners and viewers out there. Thank y'all for being with us. If y'all got value out of today's episode, please like this episode, share it with someone else. Make sure you go follow Jillian to get that free PDF. Use those questions. I'm telling y'all, it's powerful. If you don't subscribe to our podcast yet, click that button. We appreciate every single one of you that follow along out there with us. We've got more conversations coming up with operators just like Jillian, people out there building a real business in the industry. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.